said this about, I have like 3 sisters, right?
Yeah.
I have 3 older sisters, and each one of them are intricately different, and they're all intricately part of how I am the motherfucker that I am today. Because my younger sister is extremely smart, real sexy, pretty, and she always liked dudes who were good looking, athletic, great bodies, right? A lot of fun to be with, wrestle, play, fight, play sports, ride bikes, shit like that. But they was good looking, but they was always dumb as shit. Now my middle sister, she always dealt with dudes who smooth as shit. Always had that 78 Cutlass Supremes, right? The leather seats. They always had the suits, like espadrilles and shit, and gold chains and shit like that.
Right.
And they were like really smooth, fine wines. Always have money, paper, take her to Bahamas and Jamaica and whatever. But they was ugly as shit. And because they was ugly as shit, they were abusive.
Oh, okay.
Jesus, right?
Okay.
So when they would use the money to get a bitch, and then once they got the bitch, then and she was really digging him, looking past his ugly ass, because some of these motherfuckers was like, they look like seal on fire, right? so, but she would look, so because a woman don't really give a fuck about that. Like once you get her heart, it don't matter.
Yeah, once you get her,
she thinks you're beautiful. Yeah. And then once they would do that, then the motherfucker would be trying to beat my sister with a shoe and all kinds of crazy shit. Actually, one of the dudes actually threw a full can of beer at my sister and broke her 2 front teeth.
Oh, man.
Right?
God.
And I was like 16 years old. So let me just say this for the record. What works nice is a lead pipe in a newspaper.
Yeah. Because you want the girth and the weight.
But see, it looks like he thinks he's getting hit with a newspaper, right? So he's really.
All right, go ahead, little man. Get your shot in.
Psychology. Yeah, he's his guard is down. Like, and also there's that second of like, is that a newspaper? Why would someone bring this up?
Why would someone hit me with the onion? Bam!
That is a hard onion.
Yeah. So, I was 16, 17 years old with lay for a motherfucker and then smacked with a lead pipe with a newspaper. So, now my older sister, her first husband, right? First, and this is an interesting story because he was a fat nigga, light-skinned nigga, fat nigga, really couldn't get no place. She wouldn't get a motherfucker nobody. He goes to the Peace Corps, right?
Oh yeah.
Ain't no food in the Peace Corps. He loses like 100 pounds, right? Then once he lost 100 pounds, this nigga was beautiful. Hazel eyes, like this is what, 1971.
Not a lot.
Yes.
Black guys with hazel eyes.
Hazel eyes, sandy blonde afro. He had the big silver afros, a blonde afro.
It's rare.
The only person that had that was on Shields and Croft, the Bugaboos. So came back.
And I think Art Garfunkel, but that was it. That was it.
Yeah, and the dude from the Bob Ross, the painting dude that used to put me to sleep, he had a blonde afro.
Shit, just saying his name put me to sleep.
God
damn, I took a yawn.
There's a little squirrel that lives in the back corner right in the tree.
I like
So anyway, but he came back from the Peace Corps, came back and he had the crazy body, and then he also had, because he had that body, he had like swag,
confidence.
Yeah, and so like when I say Beige Phillip rule number 6 is whatever's broke, fix it. So you don't have that confidence. What you're insecure about, fix it so that you can have the confidence you need. Now you can still be a fat motherfucker and pull bitches, but if you don't believe
if you
don't believe that you can,
yeah.
you already lost.
It starts in the head, people.
Yeah. So he came back and he bagged my sister up, got married, right? But then he had a little I think he had got caught some of that heroin in Thailand, right? Had a little substance abuse thing. Ended up fucking up 2 years into the game, and he's fucking out the game. He's bounces, right? But when my sister was with the 2 years, 3, well, they were together about 5 years. 3 years, all they did was travel, go to Hawaii and France and all kinds of. And I've never seen my sister more happy because he ran the show. He would tell her what to do, and she would go, "Yes, baby. No, baby. You think so, baby?" Now, so once she got her heart broke, she always got weak dudes. pick dudes. So she was insecurity would allow her that she would pick a dude who she could control, right? Now, these dudes not really that good looking, not really that built, not particularly rich, not really that smart.
Nothing that would give them any confidence or ability to fight. Yeah.
But romantic. Because a broke nigga could do a lot of shit. Like, let's walk in the park. It's just one,
Right, yeah.
one single rose for my love.
Oh, how many dates have I done through the park? I cannot.
Or like a trip to the beach. Let's go to the beach.
This is poetry.
I got some beers I can buy at the store.
I'm gonna write.
I wrote "I love you" in the sand. Let's Instagram it.
I'm gonna write. It's 1971. I don't think.
Oh, 1971.
Yeah, they didn't even have
no, we're
CDs.
still
They
doing
didn't have
that,
CDs.
Dante.
I went back to the future on their ass. My fault.
Some of us are still
They didn't
doing
even have
that.
CDs back then, so you couldn't even do a mixed CD.
I made this 8-track.
So let's do a 1972. Let's roller rink. Let's go to the roller rink.
Roller rink was
outside.
popping,
Oh
man.
man.
With the 4 wheels.
Yeah,
You had to
yeah.
do the four,
Yo,
no rollerblades.
I got a lot of girls when I was on the rollerblades, man. Well, not the roller skates.
And then, yeah. So, but then she got a bunch of weak dudes that she figured she could control. Now, what happens is, even a nigga that you can control, ultimately, what happens is, a woman still falls in love with him, and here's just this human nature, and this is what we talk about fighting the square pimp brigade all the time, is be credible, right?
Yeah.
Be credible, maintain control, but don't be abusive with the control. So, like, she was so on this motherfucker, like, she was just like, he was a bag boy at the shop, right?
Yeah.
And he
You
did.
stole my job.
But you was 15. This nigga was 30.
Yeah,
This guy had lower back pain.
Get in there, man.
This nigga was a 30-year-old bag boy and,
Yeah.
and a handyman in a building. And so she figured, I'm gonna take him and and mold him into whatever, blah 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 blah, whatever. So she just kept castrating this motherfucker. So ultimately, what he did was go across town. See, this was, ladies, if you're listening, a motherfucker will cut your balls, or you can cut a dude's balls off, but he will find another bitch to pin it back on.
Yeah.
So my nephew has a brother the same age, and they're not twins, what we call ghetto twins. So my middle sister was at the supermarket. He's in there with this new baby, same age as my nephew, walking around getting groceries, and she's like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" Come to find out, dude has a whole nother family across town, right?
Living 2 lives.
Wow.
Now, so you think the nigga's a punk, right? But you might be able to punk him, but he gonna get his somehow.
Yeah.
He gonna get somebody. Now,
Right.
here's what's the crazy thing: the minute he got caught, he didn't say, "Please take me back, please." He ran right to the other bitch because he just really wanted an out. So, ladies, you know what I'm saying?
That's what you wait for. You wait for that out where it's like, oh, this is perfect. Well, it's perfect. I'm gone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank
Just
you.
set it up.
Now he didn't have the strength to step up and say, "This is like, bitch, you driving me crazy." But what he did is he just set up the situation so that he could get caught.
It's
And
it's like one of those things where you won't quit a job, but the second you're fired, you're like, yes, I'm out. I'm not gonna quit it because I can't. But if you fire me, I'm
out.
fucking
This is
out
what-
with a smile on my face.
And I think you have to. I tell dudes all the time, you gotta trust your gut. Like I say, the way we do the Bates Phillip rule is, if your balls are tingling, a bitch is probably gonna kick you in the nuts.
Oh.
Like Spider said.
It's like when you get that feeling, like,
That's how you know, as we talked about, like, yeah.
I think this bitch is fine. She is. If you think she is, she is.
Yeah.
There's
It's
no
so
mistake.
small, and it's also the small things. It goes back to the conversation we had about the amount of sacrifice you have to do in a relationship, because there has to be some if you want that to survive. But when you know it's too far, and it's just instinctual, it really
you
is.
feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can
And what
feel
we
that
usually do
uncomfortableness.
is we ignore it. We ignore it because we want to be in the situation. We don't want it to change. The change is always difficult. And so when we ignore it, we get that change, and then we ignore it, and then it gets worse. And then once we figure it out, now we resent the business because we didn't step up to the plate in the first place.
And it's too late.
Yeah. So what